This is your daily market review for Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka The Trade Agent. This is your daily market review for Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. Apologize, didn't do a recap yesterday. Took a little mental health day. Been super busy, and tomorrow I have another long day. Tom Ferry conference in Denver, roadshow. Anyway, long story short, let's talk about the markets. Wow, impressive action. Definitely bullish. Can't argue with the price action. Some stocks up, some stocks down. Overall, index is holding up pretty well. The old leaders, which were materials, oil, gas, and some of the materials names again, certain pharma, certain tech, not leading versus what I consider some of the trash leading. Airlines not holding up so well. Again, going into a hurricane. Again, prayers, shout out to the folks going through this stuff. Again, send a little love, hope, thoughts, prayers to those folks. Yeah, it's interesting as we talk about like the fear greed index exploding, commercial retail, real estate, an issue, housing, turning over, not good. Consumer, 24% utilization, something crazy. I can't remember the exact number. So I have a credit card utilization and usage exploding. Consumer struggling. Going into an election, bullish. And that's where I kind of like joking literally on the Discord room. I guess all bad news is good news now. And so please, this is why trading is so effing hard. And that's why you have to define your risk. And you have to be okay losing. And sometimes you're going to be dead right. And sometimes you're going to be dead wrong. And it doesn't make sense sometimes until the news comes. So please be careful. We know going into the rest of the week, we have, was it CPI on Thursday? Oh, tomorrow we had the FOMC minutes. Market was a little squirrely on that. Just be careful. I'm telling you, please be careful. Whatever you have to do, just minimize losses. Again, protect your peace at all costs. That was something I was working on internally the last couple of days. Protect your peace. Because in the end, that's all you can do. So anyway, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Again, appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. Love all the chatter within the Discord room. Again, like we don't always agree on everything. Again, it's a market. It's a subject to interpretation. I love that we can all kind of just joke each other, make fun of, again, you're going to be wrong sometimes. And that's the thing. If you take it personal and it bothers you, I get it. But this isn't a sport where you control the outcome. You're just trying to ride along, and you will be at times stuck in a position, potentially right, wrong, indifferent. You got to be a probability-based trader. You believe something's going to happen, keep your conviction until evidence shows otherwise. Congrats, either way. If you're bullish, you've done pretty well. If you've been bearish, you've traded around it. At this point, tomorrow, going into the CPI, ten cuidado. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate all the follows, love, support on Twitter, YouTube as well. Check out the education series on our website. Ding, 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 ding. Check out, there's all you need, 3 books. 3 books. Check out our website for more resources. If you have any questions about real estate, looking to buy, sell, invest, and you have literally any question in the world, please take a second. Use the Calendly link. Let's conversate. Let's see what I can do to help. Again, you might not realize this about certain things, about certain markets, certain agents. Again, why limit yourself? It will cost you no different, essentially, to use the best agents versus the worst agents. Now people say, oh, is that collusion with the price fixing? No, you're going to get what you pay for. And so if you think of it from that perspective, if you want to go with cheap agent, you're going to get cheap service. You go with a good agent, you pay more, but you're going to get more money in the end. You're probably going to get better coaching through the process, and you're going to bank more money. I can guarantee that, essentially. Because again, working with the pro, you're going to have a better likely outcome. Now again, will it be perfect? Again, the market is subject. You are subject to the market, so you better have a pro helping you out. Let me help. Reach out. Let me know what you need. CME Watch Tool. Talked about this going into, I don't know, next in the election. We had 2 rate cuts, potentially. Now it's just 1. Like, there's no odds for a 2. Look at it. 0%. 2 weeks ago, 35%. Bullish, bearish? Good question. Don't know near term. Again, you have to do what the market's doing. Can the market trap? Can it play games? Can you put yourself in position, or the market put positions on people in a place to make them make mistakes? Yeah, absolutely. The goal is to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. Don't forget that. Bitcoin, we talked about watching this 64,000 area, 65, didn't break it, back testing it now. Again, going through the evidence, this is where it's hard. There's a lot of things that don't look right, but the indexes are holding up. Can the futures action be different than the actual indexes versus what's actually in the individual stocks? You bet your sweet ass it can. Oil. Man, this doesn't feel right. Yeah, I was gonna say, did I not has Bitcoin wrong? I apologize. I don't use TradingView. It's more of a tool for these things. Again, my programs. Again, I don't have all the futures programs. I don't need it. I don't really watch Bitcoin. A lot of people are like, oh, you don't? I'm like, no. Why pay for the extra feed and I can just go here and get it for free. Oil. Again, I think this has the best visuals on it. Oil futures. Again, if you ever used eSignal, they changed a lot of their programs because now I'm considered a professional trader. It's like, I don't need all this crap. I don't want to be spending $800 for live feeds. I know that's a lot of money in the end, but it's not worth it when you get free 30, especially with, like, say, oil. You can get the exact futures price, or not the exact action on oil. Sorry to rant on that, but here we go. What happens? Zinc hits your resistance area. We did break the downtrend, now backing off. Remember, buy the rumor, sell the news, especially with oil and hurricanes. If you've been following the channel, you've been paying attention to anything, you've been following for any point in 10 years plus, you know for a fact we've talked about this trade. Oil trade is what? Complete once it basically hits land. Once the worst is known. Got to be careful. Natural gas, as we talked about, we like it in long term, can't chase it, back up into resistance, praying for a $1 handle. Keep it simple, stupid, the kids method. Dollar. This is what's crazy. Look at the dollar. It's just on fire. Volatility. Something's going on behind the scenes. TLT, again, I'm so thankful I took profits up at the highs. Again, I took away some of my position just so I could put into other positions that some have worked, some have not. If you're comfortable with bonds long term and you want to unhedge here, it makes sense to find your risk. If you want to close out the whole position and maybe you banked, because again, we talked about the 94, 95 area. A lot of people focus on when we're wrong or when we're right. Again, goal is to be 70, 80% of the time. This one is perfect, spot on. If you want to unhedge here, great. If you want to take all of your money off and say, you know what, I take a cover call after the big rise, taking in the trade from the 90 to 100 plus area, cool. I don't know. Because again, I struggle with the idea, like, if the market's going to pull back, it should crush commodities, but we have so many geopolitical risks. You have hurricane risk. You have everything going on in the world. And it's like, will rates go lower? They should, but they really got to crush the market, in my opinion, to get rates down. That's just my opinion. The only way you're going to get people running into bonds for protection is if what? Commodities, the world, demand destruction, everything. Demand meaning like economic demand falling off a cliff, which again, it kind of is, but it's almost, again, going into election. We got to make sure everything seems good for the constituents that are in power, right? Like, hey, these job numbers are great, but you can go look at them and go, what the fudge? 900,000 government workers added, 700,000 full-time jobs lost. What? Say what? Over the last, I can't remember the span of periods, but the numbers just boggle your mind. But hey, that's what they do. VIX holding the 20s. Again, you would think the market would not be at all-time highs with the VIX climbing. Again, things that are confusing. The VIX, you would think would be in the 70s or 80s. It's at 119. Keep an eye on it. SPY breaking out. Is it a trap or is we about to go nuclear? Again, if you're long, short, your point is to be indifferent. Do what the market's doing. If you have to stop out, you have to stop out. Holding the 20-day, keep it simple. We talked about you had to break 565. You did not break it. Congrats, bulls. Sorry, bears. Sorry, sometimes I even look at myself like, hey, wrong is wrong. QQQ, coming back to the range highs. Will it fill the gap? We're not far off. Some people are convinced it will. And this is where, again, if I didn't make sense in the Discord room, in a trend, a gap doesn't necessarily have to be filled right away. Right? That's what we talk about, like uptrends, downtrends. Like, you're not going to go back and backfill it constantly along the way up. Makes sense? Hopefully it does. Right? Anyway, be careful. Do what you got to do. Watching it. Be safe. IWM. Here we go. Holding, chopping around. Again, doesn't really look strong. DIA. Holding 20-day. Back to the channel highs. Worth a watch. Gold, which has been leading. Silver, miners, leading up. Gold starting to melt. Silver looks poised to go ape shiznit. Oop, that candle said, not so fast, my friend. Backing off like Lee Corso. We'll see what happens here. Again, miners, you should be screaming. Higher highs, higher. GDX, right? Junior miners, they're the best risk on. Okay, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. Again, this is what you typically see before a big sell-off. Miners getting crushed. The things that were leading getting smoked down. They're not leading. Again, now, is it a rotation back into tech? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. That's the whole thing that's maybe going on, or maybe it's just the trash is floating last. Again, only you know the right answer, meaning do what the market's doing and get paid. If you're wrong, you're gone. Newmont should be breaking over the 55.56, pass, chopping around. Is what it is. Taiwan Semi, again, we thought some of these tech names would be leading up. Look at today's action. Okay, big dang doji. Big dang doji. Fills the gap. Retest the high. Again, it's really binary, very simple. Micron runs up on earnings. Post earnings, kapow. Chopping around. AMD, everybody and their mom believes this is going higher. Back testing some interesting areas. Gap to fill at 177. Now here we go. Do all gaps have to fill? No. Did that gap? I mean, that gap, I guess, did. Did this gap? No. We'll see. Will this gap fill? Be careful. NVIDIA. Stop me out. Piss me off. Again, part of mental health day. Take some time break. Gap up. Retest the highs. Or I wouldn't say really the highs, the range highs. Again, long term, I think this is one of the craziest, easiest shorts in the history of the market, like Cisco was in the 2000s and some of those tech names, but we'll see. AIO, as we like to kind of make a joke. SMCI pops. Again, looked like there was a lot of put action. Someone's anticipating something bad, but at the lows, buying a lot of puts, just like at the highs, buying a lot of calls. Sometimes you have to be skeptical because someone is on the other side of that trade, right? I like the idea of someone buying a ton of calls at the lows, buying a lot of puts. Again, someone knows something, but doesn't mean it has to go down. It's a 50-day chopping around. Intellectual property. This thing has been just kind of a, I don't know what you would call it, chop. I think they're going to get delisted at some point. Pisses people off when I say it. See what happens here. I hope it, honestly, I don't really care. Intel, again, it is what it is. If you got the stock, cool. If you don't, cool. SMH, Soxus, come on. Retesting the range highs. Again, gap fill. Will these gap fill? No guarantee. Be careful. Adobe, it's been acting like absolute poo, but chopping around. Lower lows, coming down. We'll see. Adobe. Sorry, Apple. I decided Adobe. Apple, lagging. You would think this would be leading. You think this would be new market highs, 230s. Mid 230s? Nope, lagging. Amazon, you think this would be back at 200? No, chopping around its recent range lows. Meta, now this has been strong, very strong, right? Up at the highs, Zuckerberg seems to be kissing the ring, meaning potentially the DT ring. We'll see. Keep an eye on it. CRM, this one's been holding up really well. Back at the range highs. Blue zone top. Google, going to get broken up at some point, it seems like. Market's not liking it. Again, I think it's actually a bullish long-term move because, again, the individual parts are probably worth more than the whole, right? Take all these 10 things that they have that are probably great assets and divide them up. Individually, they're probably worth more than the whole. Keep an eye on it. Microsoft, chopping around. Hasn't been leading. Definitely coming off the lows for a little bit. NDAQ, we talked about this failing at some point. Okay, broke the 20-day. Hit the 50-day. Bouncing around. Again, I think this is an easy long-term short. Don't need to go into the why every episode. MicroStrategy talked about holding up really damn well. Congrats. And again, I'm not going to say like in the mindset of like, oh, it has to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Again, if I'm trading this, the profits I'm taking as it rises, that's my nature of it, right? Now, could it go on a monster rip? Then, okay, keep some on. But the risk reward, it's got to, I mean, you've got to get over 199, 200. You just have to. Netflix holding up pretty damn well. Credit where credit's due. Roblox. I don't even want to talk about why it was down, but look at the gap down. And then it rallies back. Things have been absolutely all over the place. Pan W. Here we go. Just about to go? Or is this another trap? Worth a watch. Tesla. A lot of puts being bought. A lot of options being traded. Talk about the 20-day. Not the close you want on a green day. Will this gap get filled? That's the question. Only you know the answer if you follow it. Not guaranteed. Insight. Again, I want to see this thing pull back. Plantar. Again, this looked like a great short. Definitely made sense to me. Some other people as well. Didn't work. Again, didn't short it personally, but was watching it. You're stopped out. That's really all it is. And if you're bullish, congrats. Was it $1 trillion company at some point? McDonald's broke out over the top of the zone, chopping around. Is it going to go? It seems to be. Again, they even had an upgrade today. Didn't do so hot. DKNG DraftKings, talked about bull trap, chopping around. Again, you need to get below 37. Airbnb, we talked about the trash floating last. Here you go, trashy. Finally, here's a gap that did get filled. Is this gap going to get filled? Was that going to get, I guess that did get filled. Sorry, this gap. We'll see. This makes sense to me. Costco. The beast that is. Right in the 50-day, chopping around. Starbucks, talked about this one. After the CEO news, it's going to consolidate. It's consolidating. FedEx, gaps down on earnings, trying to speed up a little bit. Oh, and then the internet goes slow. Today, Junior, talked about gapping down on earnings, things you don't typically see if the market and the economy are strong. Rallies back some. Now it's watching the 100-day. I mean, again, I'd be watching this 269 plus area. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to make it hard for a brother? There you go. Keep an eye on that. Caterpillar, been a monster. Gaps down yesterday with the China. Obviously, China, again, Caterpillar, again, when China's ripping, Caterpillar's ripping. Is it priced in? Does anyone see the China action overnight? Down 8%. Wasn't it 12%? I don't know, whatever. Again, big up move came with a big down move. DE. Imagine if the United States markets were flopping around 8, 10, 12% a day. Why does that not translate here? We'll see. DE, we talked about hitting the range highs, chopping around. Nucor, material names. We got a lot of them long term. Please don't leave without us, but they are chopping. X, again, I like this in the 20s. VALE, yeah. Right? I mean, it makes sense long term. Big producer that will supply China. Arrow, copper names. Again, we like them. Look like they're going to break out. Comes back. CCJ, been on fire. We talked about watching the range highs. We're up there, 52. You better get over that. Keep it simple. CF, again, we like ag long term. CF seems to be the leader, pulling back after a pop. Mosaic, NTR seem to be stuck in neutral at the lows. Right? They can't even get out of first gear yet. Keep an eye on it. XLF, holy guacamole, cannoli, Gemoni, whatever you want to call it. Okay, got some FAS. Not feeling good about it going into the earnings on Friday. But if the market's up, if fear and greed index is in the 70s, maybe gets to the 80s, it feels like a trap coming. Okay, financials hold all of the problems here, and it's like they didn't all of a sudden get healthy. Keep an eye on that. JP Morgan, right? We talked about this chopping around. Morgan Stanley, I mean, again, stopped out, lost some money on puts, back at the highs. Okay, keep an eye on it. Bank of America, again, Buffett can't literally sell fast enough. Okay, we'll see what happens. Goldman Sachs, we've talked about the 500 area. Really importante. Here you go, back up at it. Is the trash floating or is this catching up? Carry, speaking of trash, right? Junior banks. Chopping around. I mean, XBI, right? Like this is the big risk on. Junior biotech, right? Not really acting so hot, right? Housing. Chopping around here. I mean, at highs. Watching the 20-day. Keep it simple. Solar, and just hits the 200-day. Right? Gives it right up. Sedgerton said this is going 15. See you there. ENPH, big trading range, 120s, 130 to 94. Breaks 94. Adios. First Solar, we talked about this blow off 7 candle or 7 arrow top. Just straddling the 50-day. Keep an eye on it. HYG said, and you had to be high out of your mind to buy corporate debt. Now it's starting to pull back. Keep an eye on it. Oil. Again, buy the rumor, sell the news, going into the hurricane. I mean, there's going to be demand issues. Was it priced in? We'll see. Keep an eye on it. UNG, again, I hate the UNG. I think it's a terrible product. We talked about taking natural gas products, profits, especially on the KLD in this upper 50s, lower 60 area. Good trade. If you shorted in the 80s, congrats. XOP, we talked about being careful, right? This has been resistance. Okay, expecting to back off. Now, what does it do? That's the key. You back off like thinking you thought. What next? CVE, chopping around again between 16 and 20. Valero, gasoline names got pummeled yesterday. Back down, chopping near range. I wouldn't say necessarily the range lows, but low end of range. Well, I guess NPC more so. Again, gasoline names, are they about to take off? Oil names, again, ExxonMobil breaking out. This is what is got to be infuriating if you're a bull. Like, look at that formation. Big up, doji, professional gap down. Does that gap fill? Or is this thing toast? Your guess is as good as mine. Occidental. Again, I like this for the long term. We talked about this. If you own this, maybe selling some calls doing what Buffett would do, sell some in the money calls and then pray it goes nowhere, pulls back. And if it goes higher, again, you'll hopefully be able to uncover them before this thing moves significantly higher, and you can at least collect some premium. We talked about that. Keep it simple, stupid. EQT, again, I like the gas names, but I'm not gonna trade them. And again, back on Occidental, again, you disappear for a year from now, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be fine. But if you want to trade it, trade it. Flex LNG, last but not least, again, I think will be natural gas exporters, big consolidation range. Nice juicy 11% divvy. All right, got any questions? Don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Love you guys. Appreciate all love, support. Please keep people in Florida, people in North Carolina, people in the middle, in the whole world, keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Good people deserve to have some good things happen to them. Also, people who are just struggling, might need some help. Lend a hand, offer to help, volunteer, get involved, whatever you need to do on a local level. People love it. Again, energy, good energy for the good people out there. Love you guys. Have a great evening. Talk to you soon. Peace out.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.